We are Rogue Media Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports. It is the Cam Show. It is Tuesday. We're going to talk a little Celtics today after a big-time win. Big-time win over the Jimmy Butler-less Heat. A little bit of Bruins talk as we kind of flip the page from what the disconnect that was with this team early in the season, and hopefully the connectivity and the style of play that will get them into the postseason. Can they actually get there? That will be the next big question for them. And then, of course, because you're very used to it on Tuesdays, the worst things we watched this week, because we didn't do it last week, right? We did it at the end of the week before, Zach. And so this is catching you up from Thanksgiving, which is a lot of time in front of the TV. So that is Zach Burke, of course, keeping us on the air. The great, the one and only, often imitated, never duplicated, ZB. That's what his friends call him, Zach Burke. I'm Cam Stewart, I guess. I do notice that, like, I don't usually say my name out there. I don't know why that is, but I mean, you can see it in the Twitter handle at the bottom on YouTube, and any description you can see my name, but I don't usually say that. Maybe I got to say that more.
You don't. Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard for people to, I mean, I think they know that you're Cam at least.
Starring Cam Stewart as Cam. I think like we can put some of that in there.
Yeah.
You weren't here for my great, if I might say so myself, fucking great.
I've heard it was great.
Yankees World Series recap.
No, I wasn't.
In which the great John Sterling, in his last sign off ever, says, "And stick around next for the Cam Show, starring Cam Stewart, stick around for the Cam Show, starring Cam Stewart as Cam."
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
I have half a mind.
Two.
No, I just have half a mind.
Oh, okay.
I have a quarter of a mind to just play that at some point in this.
A full one's overrated.
Who needs it?
Yeah.
It just gets you into trouble. There was a pretty prominent Pete Souza cameo in that as well. It was a lot of fun. I had to do that one after the Yankees lost the World Series. Don't know if you knew that.
No,
the Yankees did not win the World Series.
Oh, okay.
They were there.
Yeah.
Which is enough for some.
I did see
losing a World Series in the 21st century. Have no idea what that's like.
I haven't talked to you about this, but this is the perfect time to bring it in. And it fits in with what the show's about.
Yeah.
I saw the rumblings of what a Juan Soto deal would look like for the Red Sox.
What's the most recent that you've seen?
It was, oh my goodness. Now I'm trying to remember the number. It was like in the 600 something range, I think.
Yeah.
I think maybe
so that would
12.
put him at, because what was the deal we went over last week? That sounded pretty good. It was like 13 or 14 years. I don't know the math off the top of my head, so I'm just like throwing out the numbers I remember. At about 45 million would get to 585.
Yeah.
That sound right? Because if you did 12 for 50, that would get to 600.
Yes.
So.
And I think that's what I saw. It was 12 for 60. Or 12 for 50. I'm sorry.
And what is Ohtani's? Ohtani's was a 10 because he's a little bit older. 10 for 700. Is that right? 70 a year on paper.
I'll have to look that up, but that does sound right.
Obviously, a bunch of it deferred.
What Randy Miller of NJ.com was talking about was that he heard that Soto was very impressed with the Red Sox and that they are telling him that they're going to bring in a couple extra players in addition to him.
That has got to be the big time selling point. Let's make this some Red Sox here. That's got to be the big time selling point if you're the Red Sox, because it's great the position that they're in a lot of ways, of having finally a great farm system and having young players who are making an impact at the major league level, like Wilyer Abreu and Tristan Casas, and to a lower extent, unfortunately, smaller extent, Brian Bayo. Like that is great. And it is a long-term thing, and you're about to sign a guy to a 12 to 14-year contract, but they've also got money to spend. And so maybe that brings the price down a little bit. And by that, I mean under $600 million total. which doesn't feel like it's bringing any price
No, not
down.
a little
But yeah, they are in a position where they can go out and get a couple of front end starters. And as tough as it was at times last year, and as much as it kind of spiraled out the last 2 months of the season, like this team is not that far away from really competing. I think they've got a good manager still, even though the last couple of years have been lackluster. I think they've got a good manager. They finished at 81-81 this year. And they kind of piece things together, again, with the guys like Casas and Abreu and the ones you have coming up down the pike. Like, you've got a young core there.
Can I add a little bit more since this is Red Sox?
Please.
A little bit more
Yes,
news.
let's do it.
They bolstered the bullpen.
Yeah.
I just saw that when I was looking for more updates on the
Yeah,
Soto
they got
news.
some nobody.
They signed a Aroldis Chapman.
What?
Red Sox to sign a Aroldis Chapman.
When was this? What are you talking about?
Just like now, just like within the last hour. The deal,
What?
which is pending a physical, reportedly guarantees the Wasserman client
Oh my God,
$10.75
yes.
million. Boston's 40-man roster is full, so they'll need to make a corresponding move once the signing is made official.
This is right before we went on the air. I don't love this. I don't love this. And it comes back to something I was talking about last night. I was with my friends at Chili's, the Mecca, and we were watching the Browns game,
Mhm.
and we were talking about Deshaun Watson, and it was kind of posed of like, how would you be acting about Deshaun Watson if you were a diehard Browns fan? And like earlier in the year, he was your quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's undeniable that Deshaun Watson's a scumbag and that he's done some pretty bad things. Has not been found guilty yet, but when there's this many accusations, like there's fire there. You know, there's enough smoke that there's fire. And what would you do if that's your franchise quarterback? Like, I was kind of wondering, like, obviously I would still be like, this guy's a scumbag, but would I try to twist it
Well,
because I'm such a fan?
I can tell you how it was in Houston.
Yeah, because that was the beginning of the accusations
was
were
it,
in Houston.
and it was just to kind of like throw that in, and that was just more of like, you were happy that they weren't playing him. Like, you didn't know what everything was out there, but you were just kind of like, if the things that are, like, yeah, he doesn't need to be. And I feel like the Texans saved the NFL from having to lay down any type of judgment by not playing him.
So now this takes on a very real take, because Aroldis Chapman is a bad guy, like a real scumbag, like holding his girlfriend or wife at gunpoint kind of scumbag, like not a good human being at all. And now he plays for your team.
He won a World Series with mine.
Yeah. Like, oh, that stinks. 10-7-5. Ooh.
Yep.
And look, this is not the first time it's happened with the Red Sox. I mean, Manny had some domestic problems. Robert Parrish threw his wife down the stairs. He's still a Boston legend. You go anywhere, it's Chief. You know? Julio Lugo. The late Julio Lugo, I think that's right. I think he died. Former Astro as well. In fact, I think it was in Houston where he had the domestic dispute in like the parking lot.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, kind of wild. So this has happened before, but now here we go again. Like, am I supposed to root for that guy? I have literally made jokes at that expense, which I probably shouldn't, but I've made jokes at his expense and that domestic abuse expense outside of Fenway Park after he blew a save when he was with the Yankees. I remember someone saying, like, it's good to get one over on a guy who beats women like that. And I said, well, they'll just beat women, just his wife. So now that guy's on my team. I don't love that. I mean, you want to talk about, we had this debate a week or 2 weeks ago. He got a Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, but not before Billy Wagner.
No, because he'll have the longevity. Wagner.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
and Craig Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen will get in.
There's some, I mean, when he was with the Cubs, yeah, I guess, a bit there with the Yankees, but I don't know if he has
He appeared in 68 games last year.
He's played for 5 different teams since 2022.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, now he's just a journeyman bounce around.
Yeah.
Kind of guy. I want to pull up the stats from last year because he was with Pittsburgh, so it's kind of hidden. Obviously,
Boy, they play baseball in Pittsburgh.
they're going to play some good baseball.
Hey, I actually really like a lot of the young
I
Pirates
really
teams.
hope
They
so,
do.
man. And I've been to. That's a great ballpark if you've never been to it.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, as much as they might annoy me, that is a great sports town. Great
No,
sports town.
it's always looked like one of the prettiest ballparks.
Oh,
just to
it's my favorite ballpark that I've been to as a visitor. Fenway's my
Yeah.
favorite, but Pittsburgh is my second favorite.
And
but I'm going to
Cabran-
Wrigley this year.
and Cabran Hayes, O'Neill Cruz, Brian Reynolds, like they have a solid little group out there. Paul Skeens, of course.
1-3 whip, which I don't love. He hasn't had a whip under 1 since 2020. So take that for what that's worth. He appeared in 13 games that year, the COVID year. I like my closers to have 1-2 and under for the whip. He does not have that. Has not had that in a while, actually. 14 saves last year, 26 earned runs in 61 innings, and struck out 98 in 61 innings. He has not struck out 100 batters since 2016.
Okay. Been a little bit, but I mean, like he's an innings eater. Well,
Yeah,
not
and
like a
I
full
wonder-
innings, but
I wonder
he'll get you a
what-
solid inning.
I wonder what his role is with this team. Because like now, I mean, he's probably closer. Best closer they've got in terms of their bullpen.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Garrett Whitlock back in the bullpen. This is a guy they've tried starting the last few years. And he's either been mediocre or hurt. And his most effective time with the Red Sox was in the bullpen, specifically as the closer in 2021. But I don't love that. But if nothing else, it's a sign of intent. And that's what we've been talking about with the Red Sox. It's a sign that yes, we are going to upgrade this year. We're spending $11 million on Aroldis Chapman, up to $11 million. That's a lot for a guy who's, I mean, what, 35, 36? He's not a young guy. He's still obviously proved that he could be effective, but
36.
and he still threw a pitch 36.
Mhm.
Yeah. He threw a pitch last year that I think was like 103 miles an hour. So that still plays. He is going to have a Hall of Fame case, a real good one. I'm telling you, Zach.
Okay.
I know you want
Again,
Billy
you
Wagner in
mentioned-
first, but
You mentioned other guys too that I think of like Kenley Jansen.
yes, and they'll
Craig
have
Kimbrell
great
and-
counting stats as well, Kimbrel and Jansen. Those guys will get in. That's why I had to put Billy Wagner in.
I always kind of thought they'd put Chapman in on 105 alone in a way sometimes.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, with the red, yeah.
I want to see his similarity scores as I roll down here. Kimbrel, Wagner, Joe Nathan, John Wetland,
Oh, nice.
Kenley Jansen, Francisco Rodriguez.
K-Rod's not going to get in, I don't think.
Probably not. Randy Myers is in there. His similarity score from last year was Jeff Montgomery. The year before was Jeff Reardon. That's still pretty good. Like, that's still a good level. Or excuse me. Sorry. That was most similar in 10th season. Most similar by age. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Age 36. So that compares these guys at age 36. Craig Kimbrel.
Oh, okay.
35, Billy Wagner. 34, Billy Wagner. 33, Billy Wagner. 32, Billy Wagner. 31,
Billy Wagner.
Billy Wagner. 30,
Billy Wagner.
Josh Hader.
Ah. Oh, yeah. Josh
Hader,
yeah.
Hader, Jansen, Hader,
Will Hader be a
Jansen,
Hall of
Hader,
Famer?
Rocker. John Rocker. He's going to have a good case. I don't know if the longevity will be there the way it will be for Jansen and Chapman and Kimbrel
Sure.
and Wagner. Because I just don't know. Like, it's not that guarantee of, oh, yeah, he's going to have another couple years. But he's been doing, I mean, Hader for what, 6-7 years
Mhm.
now? His first All-Star team was 2018.
Okay.
So, I mean, he didn't have a great year last year with Houston. If he can get 2 or 3
Cool.
more high level which is asking a lot after age 30. High level closer seasons, he will have a real good case. Real good case. The only time he led the league in saves was 2020 with 13. That still has to matter, and has never had a 40 save season.
Okay. Yeah.
I get you can make the argument they're used a little bit differently now, and he was a guy who could go more than one inning for a little bit there. It's going to take a couple more real good seasons, but 5-time All-Star,
It's not bad.
top 10 in the Cy Young in 2018. That's a good question, man. That's a good question. Back to Soto, who will be a Hall of Famer. I
Yes.
think. This is a sign of, hey, man, we've already brought in a guy to bolster the back end of our bullpen, which stunk last year. We're going to get one of these starters. Like it would be crazy if the Red Sox didn't get one of Corbin Burnes, Max Fried, or a trade for Logan Gilbert. A trade for Garrett Crochet would be great, but that's probably just a little bit more far-fetched than either of those other three guys. I think you can get Gilbert at a better price, better haul than what you would give up for Crochet. And Burnes and Fried, all they cost is money. And the Red Sox are burning holes in their pocket. I hope it doesn't mean that Liverpool will not be able to re-sign Mo Salah. Can we get Mo Salah on board of like, hey, 1 year and we'll be able to get Juan Soto here? I think we should be able to work that out.
I also read, to add just a little context to the Soto thing. So the pitch that they've been making while he was there was just of how much like they've had great lefties that have benefited from the monster there, which makes sense. And also,
you can hit it the other way. You can go the other way.
But so that was of just like the history of they've had with lefties there. But also, they have gotten Pedro Martinez and David Ortiz to be their pitchmen for them as well,
which should help. I mean, there is something to that. Like the Red Sox have had a great run of Latin players, more than maybe any team ever. If you're talking high end Latin players, man, with Pedro and Ortiz and Manny, it doesn't get much better than that, right? I don't know how much that's a part of it, but that is a part of it. And looking at the fact that the Red Sox can go in and get some more pieces, the other teams can't really do that. Now, the Yankees and the Mets are better than the Red Sox right now, so that's also that's the push and pull of it. But the Red Sox are pitching, hey, we're ready to win. You're going to be the cornerstone of this. Okay? Like, and it's not going to take 5 years. You know, Toronto, who the hell knows what their pitch is? I don't know. I mean, their pitch is going to be, hey, you can play with Vlad Jr. and a bunch of nobodies. And you're going to get half that salary taken away by the beautiful nation of Canada. But the Red Sox, what they can say is, hey, you are going to be the franchise here. And maybe that is something they hold. Like Yankees, you're not going to be that. You're not going to be Aaron Judge. You might even be better. But I don't think he is, but he's pretty close. But you're not going to be the face of the franchise. Here, you're going to be the face of the franchise. And you're going to be able to show. It's almost like what they could do with Kyrie with the Celtics, which was, hey, you want out of town? How about I bring you here where it's going to be your show? You're going to have LeBron for only 1 year in the conference, and this is going to be your show. You can prove that it is your show. And we've got a team ready to build around you right now. That's what the Red Sox can show to Juan Soto. And they can cut him a check for $600 million. That also helps. Oh. What that'll do, hopefully, if the Red Sox make that signing, is bring some electricity back to that ballpark. It's gonna need other pieces. I know. It's gonna need another right-handed power hitter. And maybe you can get one off the cheap, the way you did with Justin Turner a few years ago. You're still gonna need top-end starting pitching. Because that's all that's going to cost you is money. Maybe even you can even throw Masataka Yoshida in one of these deals. What I don't want is Alex Bregman. Do I think Bregman can have some more good years? Yes. I don't want to sign that guy on the wrong side of 30 for the perpetual fear that will become a Trevor Story contract. Story's a likable guy. It's not his fault, but he keeps getting hurt. I do not, with all these other names that are being thrown around, if it is a Alex Bregman big-time free agent signing, that will be a failure for the Red Sox. Someone did tweet out last night. I want to say it was Jimmy Stewart who said, not from It's a Wonderful Life, but from 98.5 The Sports Hub, who said, there is a deal that I'm hearing for the Red Sox that I don't like, and I don't think you will either. That has to be this. That has to be Chapman. I don't think it's Juan Soto. I don't think it's Max Fried or Corbin Burns. Although I will need to do a deep dive into Corbin Burns in the coming weeks. Do I think he's still an ace caliber pitcher? Yes. But there is a trend with Corbin Burns' numbers that I don't like. And I really like Max Fried. Anyway, the Soto pitch is a mouthwatering one, I would say, from the Red Sox standpoint. There are Yankees fans and Mets fans out there that are saying, no way, like, this is a poverty team. This is, once again, a sleeping giant. And what it reminds me of is that transition from 2015 towards 2016 with the Red Sox. Because in 15, they went out and they knew they had good young players that were ready to come up. And so they went out and got Pablo Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez and Rick Porcello. And it was a complete disaster, obviously. Hanley gave them something at some point. Porcello won a Cy Young. Sandoval, complete nothing. Porcello kind of falls off after 18 when they win the World Series, and Hanley doesn't even make it to the World Series in 18. But the seeds were there. In 16, you start giving these guys everyday at-bats, and those guys meaning Xander Bogaerts, who was every day the year before, Mookie Betts, who was called up in the middle of the season the year before, and Jackie Bradley. And you start giving those guys more. And you went out and you signed David Price. And the next year, the next offseason, you traded your two best prospects for Chris Sale. And all of a sudden, from a last place team in 15, you get a team in 17 that could win the World Series. And one that won the division in 16, by the way. Like that's what this is shaping up to be now. But as you saw, the team that obviously won the World Series in 18 with the best Red Sox team ever, you had good platoon pieces. You had good to great young players under contract, and you went out and got the other guys. You went out and got Chris Sale. You went out and got David Price. You went out and got JD Martinez. This is what it could turn into now. Martinez becomes Juan Soto. Chris Sale becomes Max Fried or Garrett Crochet. Let's use the trade example. And David Price becomes Max Fried. That would be dynamite for the Red Sox. Dynamite. And if you get Soto from the Yankees, this thing starts to bubble again. This pot will be forever boiling. Because that's what this needs. We need some stars on this team. We need some energy in that ballpark, and we need some real juice in this rivalry. If you make those moves, especially if you get Corbin Burns as one of the starters, take it away from Baltimore, you could be talking about the Red Sox and Yankees, once again, the two best teams in the division. Baltimore's still solid, though, man. They're still solid. But that's what it will take for this to become a baseball town again, because it still kind of is, but should be one of the best baseball towns in America. This is what it will take. Oh, boy, I hope it happens. Right now, it's been a pretty good basketball town because the Celtics are awesome. And they just decimated the Heat last night. And there's something that I saw in this game last night that I've seen this season that is really making me confident this team can go back-to-back. I'll tell you what that is coming up next on The Cam Show.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We'd definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast. Look at this. We got one of the great golfers in the world, certainly one of the great pass rushers in NFL history.
But he also had a vision for you. And so it was like you had the best of both worlds, right? You had somebody on you early, and then you had somebody who was maybe
More relaxed. What were a couple of your biggest takeaways? The person you referred to that I spoke with, I've spoken to some personnel people and general managers of the league to get some, independent, objective assessments of the players the Cowboys picked, and we'll go through that. Has the general manager changed at all in the Bradford?
Nope, it's been the same since I was here the last time.
What, you don't want me talking about how some of the sponsors saved my life? Some of the great sponsors of this show, like Extraco Bank.
I'm just trying to help you.
Love
But
Extraco Bank.
Yeah. We have fun.
We do. We have fun. Man, I won't say which one because I know they're sponsors of this network, but I think on my way north tomorrow, it's around breakfast time. It would be criminal if I don't grab some kolaches on my way out, right? Like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't not do that.
I think I know where you're headed. But yeah, no, you kind of have to.
I'll be stopping in West.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to return my router. I got to get gas and like some goodies. Like, I got to get some Gatorades and snacks and then kolaches. So like 3 stops before I get out of the fucking FM listener area.
Yeah.
And then we go. And then we move. Trying to make it to Wichita tomorrow night.
Ooh, okay.
About 7 hours, but I got to get in there soon. I mean, you guys don't care about this, but I got to get in there before 5:30 because I got to watch a basketball game to do a post game on. Speaking of basketball, God's gift to the game of basketball, the Boston Celtics, your defending champion, 18-time world champion Boston Celtics, played Miami for the first time this year, last night, and just worked them. Absolutely waxed them. 20 points. Held them under 90. Oh, but Cam, they didn't have Jimmy Butler. They never have Jimmy Butler. I'm discounting that. I'm getting rid of Jimmy Butler. The Celtics also did not have Kristaps Porzingis or Al Horford. So, kind of evening out the way Jimmy's playing this year. That is kind of evening this thing out. So Celtics win 108-89. A few notes because I hate the Heat. Like I just really hate Miami. I've told you this, Zach, that if I could get rid of any rival team, it would be the Heat. Because most of those rival teams you want to have in there because it makes everything better, right? The Red Sox and the Yankees, the Bruins and the Canadiens, the Celtics and the Lakers. I want to keep those teams around because it's a fun thing. Miami, I have no time for. Their fans suck. They don't have any. It's like this bullshit culture thing. I don't like the way they play, and I don't want them around. And the Celtics are kind of wiping them off the face. So I actually said this to my girlfriend, who's a big-time liberal, much like yourself, Zach, a couple weeks ago. It was when the Patriots lost to the Dolphins, because now they can't beat the Dolphins. And I said, man, I will be like a full supporter of climate change. I will do whatever I need to do. I will throw out whatever I need to do. I won't recycle. I will vote for anything that will keep global warming going if I can get a guarantee that there will be a natural disaster that just wipes Miami off the planet. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Or in public at all? Or out loud? In fact, I'll let the people get out of there. I just don't want Miami.
Oh, that's nice.
I just don't want Miami.
Just as a city?
Yeah, I know it's the sports teams thing, and plus it's all things I don't like in terms of I'm not skinny, nor muscly, nor attractive, and I don't go to nightclubs till like 6 a.m. So I don't need any of that. Off you go. Off you go. No, I'm kidding. Of course. I'm kidding. But the Heat, if they didn't exist as a franchise, I'd be okay with that. I would be so okay with that. And I love dunking the basketball on the Miami Heat, literally and figuratively, because I think I could have dunked on them last night. So no Jimmy Butler. You remember when Duncan Robinson was the next big thing in terms of Heat culture, and he got that contract, that 4-year contract. Duncan Robinson last night, 2 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 6 from 3-point shooter, minus 20, 5 points. Duncan Robinson, I should be rooting for Duncan Robinson. It's like a main guy. He played D3 at Williams. Like, I should be rooting for this guy. He's a LinkedIn account. But, like, give me Drew Peterson any day. Drew Peterson, who looks like the kid on the AAU team only because his dad is the coach. He's got the shooting sleeve, and it's like bros at the wrong locker room. But he's out there. He played 26 minutes last night for the Celtics. Their starting 5. Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, and Haywood Highsmith. Boy, that team's going to make the playoffs because they always do. And Bam Adebayo, 6 of 18 from the floor, 8 rebounds, 15 points. He was a minus 17. That's your best player. Even when Jimmy's out there, he's probably your best player. And I just looked down this list. I'm like, who are these guys? Our old pal Terry Rozier off the bench, 4 points, minus 13. He was supposed to be the guy that came in last year and was going to bolster that team and be like, oh, look out, Boston. And he got hurt, and it wasn't the same. Now you look at their bench, Keshad Johnson, Alec Burks, Thomas Bryant, Drew Smith, and Pelly Larson. I mean, even for Miami, who the hell are these guys? Kevin Love didn't play. That's a big loss for them. Shout out to him still being in the league, man. I was in 5th grade when he was in college. But the thing that I want to focus on is the Celtics. First career start for Jordan Walsh, by the way. Happy for him. No points, but he's a plus 10. You know, I love me some plus minus. But the thing that I love about this team, and that I think will really contribute towards their repeating, is what they're getting from the bench. And it was a big thing in the 80s. They had what was called the green team. So in practice, the starters would wear white jerseys and the reserves would wear green. And Casey Jones used to do it all the time. Like the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first quarter and the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter, he'd have the green team out there. And Bird and Parrish and McHale and DJ would get a rest. And so it would be Greg Kite and Jerry Seasting and Bill Walton and all these guys who were the reserve teams. And it was just about keeping their lead and or building the lead. And the Celtics have a real green team right now that these guys are playing, man. Luke Cornett had a big time night last night. In 27 minutes, he only scores 6 points, but he blocks 6 shots and is a plus 14. And you'll say, oh, well, Cam, I mean, come on. We saw plenty of Luke Cornett in the regular season last year. He's not going to play in the playoffs. I mean, Miami's a team that they could well play in the first round of the postseason. If he's doing that against Miami and Bam Adebayo, why is he not going to play? The big men were probably too athletic for Dallas. That's why we saw more Spencer Tillman than we saw Luke Cornett in the finals. But like, he's a guy you can play in a pinch. Xavier Tillman, again, in the finals, was a guy you could play in a pinch. And Peyton Pritchard is the one that is leading this group. He has had an incredible year so far for the Celtics as just a strict bench guy. Now, he only goes 5 of 12 from 3 last night, which he's usually better than that. But 10 of 17, 25 points off the bench, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And it should be noted, this is a game the Celtics did not shoot the 3 well, because I hear it from all angles. Oh, the Celtics are 3-point merchants. If it's not going for them, if they go cold, they can't win. And you're going to hear that all year. You're going to hear it from the TNT guys in the postseason. You're going to hear it in the conference finals that the Celtics, if they go cold from 3, they can't do anything. Well, they just knocked out a playoff team. that will be in the playoffs again. I know they're 9-10, but they're always a playoff team. And they're ones that give a team that gives the Celtics fits. And they crushed them. They beat them by 20 points, and they only shot 35% from three. 19 of 55 from three. But Peyton Pritchard this year, coming off the bench, 16.5 points a game and 3 assists, and he's shooting 49% from the floor. And you were seeing it inside the arc last night. There were people that were so pissed that it was basically a trade, Peyton Pritchard for Desmond Bane on draft night. Because Desmond Bane had a good couple of years there, made some big-time money in Memphis. He's a solid player. Peyton Pritchard is an elite role player on a championship team. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was surprised when Pritchard got that 4-year extension before last season. I was like, really? They're going with Pritchard here. Because he was disgruntled. He wasn't playing. He didn't know his role under Ime Udoka specifically, and that first year under Joe. And he wanted to get traded. In fact, there was rumors he wanted to go back to the West Coast. He's a Oregon guy, Portland guy. And that they could have easily done that and found, someone, or kept Marcus Smart, or found someone in the aggregate who could be a backup point guard. Instead, they said, no, Peyton, you are a part of our future. And we're going to keep you around. And he has found an incredible role with this team as the green team point guard who, as you can see, is going to get his minutes, man. Like, he's going to get his opportunities. He plays 28 minutes a game. Like, as a backup point guard, man. He's a huge part of this team. And we saw it in the postseason last year, right? We saw it with him. We saw it with Tillman. We saw it with Cornette at times. Certainly saw it with Al Horford. Like, that bench, and Hauser had some big-time games, big-time moments. Like, those guys can play in the postseason. They've done it. They've seen what it's like. And so the argument last year that and this was a bit grasping at straws because all the national media wanted to say the Celtics were going to lose, but there were analysts out there that were saying Dallas had the better depth. And I was like, really? Udonis Haslem, noted Celtics hater, Heat great, I guess, was one of the ones saying Dallas has better depth. They're going to win the series because they have Tim Hardaway Jr. on their bench. I'm like, well, this is getting ridiculous. Like, yes, the Celtics have the best starting 5 in the league, but when you could bring guys like Horford and Peyton Pritchard off the bench, you're doing okay. And Sam Hauser and Luke Cornette, like, those guys can play. Well, that's because most people don't watch the regular season in the NBA, even some of the analysts. And so they don't know that. So they were like, yeah, Josh Green and Tim Hardaway, they can beat up on Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard. Newsflash, they fucking couldn't. They could not. And that's why I really think the Celtics can go and repeat, because not only do they have still the best starting 5 in the NBA, but they've got a real legit green team that could, I think, even make the 80s teams enviable, or envious, actually, is the word there. They've got a green team that I think the original green team would be envious of. Anyway, it's Tuesday, so we have got the worst things we've watched the last week and a half from me and Zach. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
is Matt Mosley, and it's the Obstructed View podcast, Rogue Media Network. I think they're learning that there's really no wonderful view of me. See, I feel like they think this feed's going to be really wonderful.
There must have been no BS, like 20 scouts, 15 to 20 NBA scouts there to see him, and he was top 5.
When your old number wasn't working, I went through various channels to track you down. So unfortunately, you can never get away from me. But I'm happy. Man. I'm happy to have you today.
No, thanks for having me. And you know we always family, no matter where I'm at.
I mean, yeah, a new coach comes in, they're going to turn the roster. I think that's just we've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
But look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
Sorry, I was watching a good video, Zach. I don't have an internal clock. It was a good video, which means it's not going to make it to this segment.
Yeah.
Because this segment on the Cam Show is the worst things we've watched this week.
I need to add an overlay just to make that's not for you. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks, Zach.
I was.
What was that?
You have a video. It was one of those. I had a moment in my head where I had a conversation with myself out loud. It's one of those where you have a video for yours.
Yes.
I could never get video for mine, but I did find a picture of just like the movie poster. So I was just reminding myself to add.
Okay,
that.
I think there's going to be a lot more into yours, so I want to do mine first.
Okay.
So let me say by saying this: most commercials I could put in here. That's usually what wins out is commercials, and there is one that I it's too long to put on here, but I think needs to be heard. Have you seen that Amazon commercial of the guy who's like the janitor at a theater?
Where they order him a suit?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that one this weekend.
I want to fire that fucking commercial into the sun.
Why?
I want everyone who made that commercial to not have a job again. I hate I love Christmas time stuff. I fucking hate like really sappy Christmas commercials. And it's this guy who works as a janitor in a theater, and he's just like kind of casually singing, like whisper singing. And like in his locker, there's a picture of him. He used to be a singer, and now he's a janitor. And he's like, what this world needs is love, love, love. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't need you. Like, it's clearly like post-election, what this country really needs is some love. And the people who work there apparently find out that he used to be a singer, and they order him a tuxedo on Amazon and make him sing in front of them.
All your tuxedos.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? They had one last year that was not supposed to be really sappy. It was a guy who was like a security guard, and he's like sick of eating out. Like he's always eating in, and you know what I mean? Eating out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I get what you're
and he starts like ordering chef supplies and stuff from Amazon, and it's stuff that can come quickly. And he's like watching videos, and he starts like cooking for himself. And I'm like, that's a good practical use of Amazon. I am not running into janitors who used to be fucking crooners every day, and I'm buying them tuxedos so that they can sing some bullshit song about how this country needs love right now. That's unreasonable. That's not something I'm going to use Amazon for, and it's stupid. It's dumb. It insults my intelligence. Speaking of that theme is going to come up. I'm going to play a commercial. Zach's going to play a commercial from one of my favorite places, which is H-E-B, a grocery store chain here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's one thing you won't have.
I won't have H-E-B anymore.
That's a bummer, right?
It's too bad. I mean, I hate going to grocery stores, but like when it's a quiet H-E-B, fucking love that. And I love a lot of their products that they make in-house, which is what this commercial is going to hit you over the head with. Okay, so let me kind of give this as a preface.
Okay.
When we talk about bad movies, I mention this all the time. How much is shown rather than said? And the worst of the worst movies, everything is said.
Mm-hmm.
Every emotion, everything you're seeing on the screen has to have a line of dialogue. That's the worst stuff. And I realized this about certain businesses that need to do that. One of them would be a grocery store. So I want you, when you're watching this commercial, to see what are the parts of it that are subtle and what parts they are telling you about. Can we roll the tape?
Oh, look, Santa ate the cookies! Hey, anyone eat the Creamy Creations last night?
The brownies.
And the pies?
Check the fridge.
Salsa?
Wait, there's a note? There's no HEB up north. Thanks, SC.
Oh.
Can't blame them.
There.
Can't blame them.
What was subtle about that?
The Creamy Creations?
None of it, brother. They told you every single thing that happened. This product? What about this product? Maybe this product? These products too? And instead of just showing us a note that he grabs, oh, there's a note. Reads the note. And instead of them just being like, if they do that, we all know what they mean. Instead, they have to go, I can't blame them. Fair. Good point. Like everything. They hit us over the head with everything. Which made me realize, too, that you've got to, because this is what I think about with commercials. Who are they appealing to?
Mm-hmm.
Who does a grocery store have to advertise to? Literally everybody.
That's true.
Everybody. Banks, the same way. Who goes to those places? Everybody. Okay? You're not even just selling, like even car insurance, there's a little bit more. You're selling to, I guess, a little bit of a less broad audience. But with this, you are selling to literally everyone. And it is like, we are going to explain every single thing that happens here. Everything. And like, I love HEB, but I'm like, that is so funny to me.
I wonder if, and I feel like you said, since it has to be to everybody, they then just feel like we need to over-explain since it's for the masses.
Yes. We need to appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
The dumbest person you know still has to eat food. They have to go to the grocery store.
And they need
and
to
there's
know
some there
we
are
have
some empty-headed people sitting at home watching that and being like, oh, that's cute. I wonder what Creamy Creations is. Oh, it's HEB's ice cream. Huh. If Santa likes it, I'll go get it. Like, it's some fucking stupid shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love when stuff appeals to really stupid people. You know why? It makes me feel smarter, if we're being honest.
I get that.
Anyway, so that's mine.
That's
fine.
This will also lead to a point that I brought up to you that will tie into mine too. So mine, I don't have any clip of it. I have at least a story about what I heard.
Perfect.
But mine was, and I'll just show it real quick, a Heidelberg Holiday, which is
I think I know what holiday that is.
a Hallmark Christmas movie. It was one of those where, so somebody was watching it.
My guy Jay Harang is definitely going to do a video on that at some point.
Oh,
he loves the
for
Hallmark
sure.
Christmas movies.
So I think
can't
this
wait
came
to-
out like last year, but what it is, it's a woman named Heidi Heidelberg who is able to be a part of the Christmas market.
That's a little Dr. Seuss for me.
He was
like
able
the name Heidi a lot.
Who was able to be a part of the Christmas market in Heidelberg, Germany.
Wow, who could have saw that coming?
Right? So she makes Christmas ornaments.
Okay, not a real job. But that fits right in.
They're like these like handcrafted, like glass blown, like she elegantly paints all of these.
Okay, so she's got a skill.
Yeah.
Good
One
for
of the
Heidi.
biggest things is all the ornaments she makes to ship over there. She uses like the cheap UPS service or mail service. And so it doesn't get to the market in time. And she keeps like, oh, they're in Iceland now. Oh, they're in Ireland now. They're not where you need them. You should have used a running joke is how she should have used the German mail delivery service. So,
okay, so all right. I know we don't have to look into everything in this, but do you think that German mail service is a real mail service, or it's just got a funny name that they keep saying?
I think there's nothing really funny about.
Okay.
I think it's just to play up the fact that this postmaster is just very like, oh, he's kooky in German.
Oh, she's very kooky.
That's the thing, is for this to be in Germany.
Oh, you should have used Heisenschnitzel. Oh.
For this to be in Germany, it doesn't sound like we're in Germany. Like you would expect if people. Here's the thing, like
American actors.
I don't know, some of them
probably
for sure. But they do have scenes where it seems like, hey, this is the German we know, because I am educated a little bit on my family being from here, but it's just like shoehorned in and it feels weird.
We're wearing clogs, but everyone speaks
It wasn't
English.
like that. It's like, oh, St. Nicholas Day. What's that? That's on December 5th.
I am still hungover from the Oktoberfest.
That is
because we have the Oktoberfest. Do you know that? Like
That's
some of that?
Yeah, a little bit.
God,
you kind of sound like Lucas, who's the love interest in the movie.
Of course. My name is Dasis Lucas.
With a K.
So, of course, that is how you spell it.
Yeah. But the thing that got me most of all in this, of why it's the word, I didn't finish it. I couldn't finish it.
You should have used.
I do know, spoiler alert, all the ornaments that she had shipped over there, like third-rate packaging, show up broke. And just
I was gonna say show up just in the nick of time.
Well, that's what it looks like, but they're also broken too. The biggest thing that I wanted to share,
because we're all broken a little bit inside, but we're still beautiful.
Oh, look at that! You know,
I can write for Hallmark
the theme of the movie without even seeing it
right now.
It's like the whole Island of Misfit Toys, but Hallmark. So
it could be a good living, man.
Yeah,
just writing Hallmark movies. Fuck.
The reason this gets on the worst thing I watched this list though isn't even the fact that it's a Hallmark movie. Like I know you've seen some of these; they can be bad. Or they can be,
they strictly have to be bad.
Yeah. Or in some instances, they're not as awful as they should be. They're usually, for my liking, they're never really like, man, I'm really glad I watched that. But it's sometimes I come away and I'm like, I've seen worse.
Yes.
But this one, I don't know. It's not a real song that I've ever heard of. But to me, it seems like they created their own like music to transition from scenes to scenes. So while they're at this,
classic Hallmark.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not getting any sales at the holiday market. One of the people that she's staying with is like, well, let me come take you on a like tour of the market through the food that we have. And so they go on this like tasting test while Christmas music plays. But like the lyrics are like, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Holly Jolly, Merry Christmas, fa la la la. It ends with a Y. And it's just like very corny, just over it. And then it comes back to them talking. And I'm like, they did not spend, like, they didn't even want to go and find a website of like, oh, this sounds like something we can use that's remotely Christmas. We'll just make our own. The music was the worst part of the whole thing. Fa la la. Yeah, it ends with an LY in case you were curious. And it also made me realize that these Hallmark movies, a lot of times, that kind of will tie it into your commercial.
Yes.
They will play music the entire time.
Yeah.
While somebody is talking. And I'm 100% sure that it's to try to elicit whatever response they want for you for that scene. It's like, oh, it's tense. We're going to play serious music.
It's exactly like this.
Yeah.
Lowest common denominator.
But it never, but the thing is, it never stops. They don't want to allow you a moment to be like, think for yourself and be like, well, I'm not picking up if I really care that much that they're trying to make me. Nope. Oh,
correct.
The music changed.
They don't give you a second for looking at plot holes or acting or writing or anything.
It's just constantly. I wonder if it's to just keep your attention. You just plow through it.
Yes.
The science of that is fascinating.
That I'm telling you, I thought I was the only one. I get fascinated by this shit. So in the middle of this, I had to look up my dad's favorite actress, because I know she does a couple of these a year.
Yeah.
Which would be Candace Cameron Bure.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, 2 in 2024, A Christmas Less Traveled as Desi.
Oh.
And Home Sweet Christmas as Sophie Marlowe.
Oh, she plays Sophie Marlowe a lot though, doesn't she?
I think that's a name I've definitely heard before in some of these shit movie things.
Yeah.
So then I go back. All right. So then she's in also this year. So she does like 3 or 4 movies a year, and half of them are Christmas movies. Ainsley McGregor Mysteries, A Case for the
what I'm thinking of
Winemaker.
is Ainsley McGregor.
An Unsung Hero, she was in 2024.
Oh.
But then the last two of 2023, My Christmas Hero and A Christmas ... present. This actually has ... space, which is not how you do that grammatically. That's against AP style. Then she was in Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, which I think is the one that Bill watches.
Maybe that's okay.
The Christmas Contest, Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Aurora Teagarden Mysteries. All right, I should. All right, Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Haunted by Murder.
Oh.
Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Honeymoon, Honey Murder.
Oh.
That's incredible. Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Till Death Do Us Part.
Oh.
Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, How to Con a Con. These were all in 2021. These are like 4 straight TV movies.
I get why the Bill Dozer's into these on
in between that. So after that, before that, I should say, in 2020, If I Only Had Christmas. And then the next one, Aurora Teagarden Mysteries. Reunited, and it feels so deadly. And before that, 76 episodes of Fuller House.
Oh, Fuller House, though, yeah.
Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, Heist and Seek. Christmas Town. Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, A Very Foul Play.
So it's either Aurora Teagarden Mysteries or a Christmas movie. That's what she's doing now.
Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, A Game of Cat and Mouse. Then, A Shoe Addict's Christmas. Last Seen, like movie scene, Last Seen Alive, an Aurora Teagarden Mystery.
Nice.
Before that, Switched for Christmas. This is so great. So clearly they made a transition when Aurora Teagarden got a brand where they put that first, because then everything before that is A Bundle of Trouble, an Aurora Teagarden Mystery. Dead Over Heels, an Aurora Teagarden Mystery. Journey Back to Christmas.
An Aurora
3
Teagarden
bedrooms, 1 corpse, an Aurora Teagarden Mystery. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, an Aurora Teagarden Mystery. It's incredible, man. A Christmas Detour.
That is funny though. Like you said, you can tell when it's
Christmas
like,
Under Wraps.
the Aurora Teagarden name and brand has become big enough where we have to put that first.
Candace Cameron Bure.
You know, I watched.
Still looks great.
I watched another
Weird family.
part of a Hallmark movie this Christmas where it was shot at the Biltmore, which was kind of cool.
That's cool.
But it was this woman used like a Christmas hourglass, and she would go back in time to the 50s where they were shooting this movie, and she fell in love with like the main actor who, spoiler alert, at the end uses that same hourglass to come to the future
with her.
To be with her, but they never explain how a dude from the 50s like gets around in 2024.
Yeah,
which is the movie I want to see.
Probably like would slap her too. If we're going from
Maybe.
the 50s,
if he's
like, one of these days, Alice, one of these days, like that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit earlier. It might have been 30s.
What? Okay, so curious, what part of the country he's from in the 50s?
It's all here in the States. Oh, what part of the country? He's from the East Coast.
Okay, so maybe he's tolerant. Flash it up to 2024. That's pretty different. It's a pretty different social climate.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine like telling this guy straight from the mid 50s, like during this sit down before we let you go outside, like what TikTok is and like, I don't know, people transitioning, any of that, or I don't know, TV, the internet, man on the moon.
None of that.
Integrated schools.
No, instead she was like it said that you died. But no, they just like he had made a story to fake his own death so he could come be with her.
I mean, first thing
for Christmas. For Christmas,
like,
needs to be in there.
Ronald Reagan, the actor, like that's the old Christopher Lloyd line. I mean, that's got to be right up there.
I still wish
that like you're not going to believe this. Gay marriage legal. Like seriously, it's 70 years. Holy shit, man.
It would be no. They do not address any of that. He's just it's love and Christmas and all that. That's all. I said 50s.
Can we get Candace Cameron Bure on the show?
I think it was earlier. I think it might have been 20s or 30s.
Do you think we'd have any shot of getting Candace on the show?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
We'll get Mike working on that. Mike knows how to contact these celebs. Candace Cameron Bure, she can plug whatever the hell she wants. Probably a Christmas movie. Plug whatever the hell she wants. And I will bring Bill on as a guest interviewer. I can't deny him that opportunity. It will certainly be offered. I would love to talk to Candace Cameron about her career. Her weird brother. And being married to a hockey player. Anyway, whose brother is in the Hall of Fame. I guess that's going to do it. We have got an exciting pressure-packed show for you tomorrow, where we will have Pete tomorrow, which I'm excited about, to get Pete back in here. He was too busy today. Got better things to do than be on the Cam Show, I guess. Anyway, we are live every day at high noon Eastern time and 11 a.m. Central, and then it's going to be wherever you get your podcasts. So be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. A ton of you that are watching are not subscribed, so that helps out a ton. We will have Pete Souza Show on at 1 p.m. on the Pete Souza Show YouTube channel. It's all part of this great Rogue Media Network. So we will see you tomorrow on The Cam Show.
You are here with your shoot first point guard, Corey Dickman.
Also, if you're not creating new fans in a small market, then you're not creating that base of people to go to games and pay for merchandise and pay for stuff and concessions at the Moda Center and yada yada.
Yeah, let's talk draft. That's the only thing we have to look forward to. The only thing we have to look forward to. That's what I will teach my son. You will teach your daughter as Blazers fans. It's like, look, the two most exciting times of the year for us are the draft lottery and the draft itself. Like, here we are. This is our thing. Give me some memories and thoughts. I know you had mentioned the first time you had met Bill. What were some of those first memories that came back when you heard the news?
Coming up on the Pete Souza Show, Rogue Media and ESPN's own King McClure talks with us about the NBA draft.
Team is banged up.
Undressed? What was your
No.
What is happening?
And it's partially because the team has like pretty kind
Wrong
of big
podcast, Mick. Wrong podcast. When you're a golfer, what is the point of no return? He was the best play-by-play announcer around, in my opinion, and he made me want to continue to watch.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.